Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Mystery Channel. Tonight, we'll be exploring the strange world of mind control and the unsettling possibility that human thought may be easier to guide than we like to believe. This is a story about influence, belief, and the hidden pressure points of the mind. It asks how a person can be persuaded without force, and how an idea can begin to feel like a memory, a truth, or even a personal choice. Across history, people have feared that the mind could be shaped from the outside. Today, that fear has not disappeared. It has simply found new forms. Some parts of this mystery can be found in secret government organizations and covert laboratories, while other parts live in rumor, speculation, and unanswered questions. But together, they point toward one haunting idea. The boundary between free will and influence may be thinner than it first appears. If you enjoy these curious journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, there's nothing you need to do but relax. Let your shoulders soften. Allow your breathing to slow. And as your mind begins to loosen its grip on the day, join me as we explore this mysterious world together. Let's begin. Mind control begins with the strange power of suggestion. A single idea can enter the mind softly, then behave as if it came from within. That is what makes suggestion so unsettling. It does not need chains, machines, or dramatic commands. It can arrive through a trusted voice, a repeated phrase, a confident expression, or a setting designed to lower resistance. In everyday life, suggestion can change what someone remembers, what they expect, and sometimes what they physically feel. In stranger territory, it becomes the first doorway into every larger fear about mental influence. Some people believe suggestion is the hidden engine behind hypnosis, mass belief, healing rituals, propaganda, and even certain unexplained experiences. Others see it as a normal feature of the brain, powerful but not supernatural. Either way, the mystery remains deeply personal. If a thought can feel like your own after someone else placed it there, where does influence end and selfhood begin? MK Ultra governments once searched for programmable human behavior. The most famous mind control program in modern history did not begin as a movie plot. It was a real intelligence project, hidden behind classified files and Cold War fear. Its purpose was broad and deeply strange. Researchers explored whether drugs, hypnosis, isolation, and psychological pressure could break down identity or make people easier to guide. The project became notorious because many subjects did not fully understand what was being done to them. When parts of the story finally came to light, it confirmed something the public had long suspected. Powerful institutions had taken the idea of controlling the mind seriously enough to fund it. Many files were later destroyed, which left a wide space for speculation. Some believe the known record is only the visible edge of a much larger effort. Others argue the program mostly produced confusion and harm rather than useful control. The mystery survives because secrecy created questions that official answers never fully closed. The Manchurian candidate fear never fully left public imagination. One of the most gripping fears in 20th century culture was the idea of a person turned into a hidden weapon. The image became famous through fiction, but it drew power from real anxieties about prisoners, propaganda, hypnosis, and secret laboratories. The frightening question was simple. Could someone be conditioned so deeply that they obeyed a command without understanding why? That idea captured the public mind because it made ordinary identity seem fragile. A friendly face could hide another layer of programming. A memory could be buried. A trigger phrase could open a locked instruction. Most experts remain skeptical of perfect cinematic control, yet the fear never disappeared because history contains enough strange research to keep the door open. Some people see the story as exaggeration. Others treat it as a clue pointing toward experiments never fully admitted. Its lasting power comes from one uncomfortable possibility. A person might not always know what guides their own actions. Hypnosis still blurs the line between cooperation and command. For more than a century, hypnotists have demonstrated that attention can be narrowed until suggestion feels unusually powerful. A person under hypnosis may forget a word, feel a sensation, or respond to an instruction with surprising ease. The mystery is not whether hypnosis exists in some form. The mystery is what it truly is. Some researchers describe it as focused cooperation, where the subject participates more than they realize. Stage performers often rely on expectation, social pressure, and quick selection of highly responsive volunteers. Yet many accounts still feel difficult to dismiss. People report vivid inner experiences, unusual memory shifts, and a strange sense that actions happen almost by themselves. This leaves a fascinating middle ground. Hypnosis may not be total control, but it can reveal how flexible the mind becomes when belief and authority align. That is why it remains central to mind control law. It shows how command can sometimes feel like consent. Subliminal messages made people wonder what advertising could secretly plant. The fear of hidden persuasion exploded when people were told that messages could flash too quickly to be noticed, yet still influence behavior. The most famous early claims about cinema advertising became controversial, and many later researchers questioned whether those claims were reliable. But the idea had already escaped into culture. It suggested that the conscious mind might be only a guard at the front gate, while deeper systems quietly accepted instructions. Advertisers, filmmakers, and musicians were suddenly suspected of hiding words, images, or urges beneath ordinary experience. Some claims were exaggerated. Others led to serious studies of perception below awareness. What makes the subject so fascinating is that the basic concern never went away. People know they are influenced by what they see and hear, but they rarely know exactly when it happens. Subliminal influence may be weaker than legend suggests, yet the legend points toward a real anxiety. The mind can react before awareness catches up. Brainwashing entered modern culture through prisoners of the Korean War. During the Korean War, reports emerged of captured soldiers making statements that shocked people back home. Some seemed to repeat enemy political ideas. Others appeared changed by captivity in ways that felt hard to understand. A new word entered public life and quickly became charged with fear. It suggested not ordinary persuasion, but a washing away of previous loyalties. The concept grew through newspaper stories, government concern, and public imagination. It made people wonder whether belief could be stripped down and rebuilt under pressure. Later analysis showed a more complex picture involving exhaustion, fear, survival, isolation, and social pressure. Still, the term became permanent because it described something people instinctively feared. A mind could be pushed until its old anchors weakened. Some people now argue that brainwashing became a propaganda tool in itself. Others see it as a real warning about coercive systems. Its mystery lies in how identity can bend when every normal support disappears. Remote influence theories ask whether thoughts can travel invisibly. Across many cultures, people have told stories about knowing when someone was in danger, sensing a distant stare, or feeling another person's intention without ordinary contact. Modern remote influence theories take that old intuition and push it into stranger territory. They ask whether thought might move beyond the skull in ways science has not yet mapped. Some people connect the idea to telepathy experiments, psychic research, or Cold War interest in unusual mental abilities. Others imagine a technological version, where signals could nudge mood or attention from a distance. Mainstream explanations usually point to coincidence, pattern seeking, and memory bias. Yet the stories continue because they feel intimate and hard to shake. Almost everyone has experienced a moment when another person suddenly comes to mind before a message arrives. That does not prove invisible influence, but it keeps the question alive. Perhaps the mystery is not only whether minds can connect, but why humans keep sensing that they do. Cult leaders show how belief can override ordinary judgment. The most powerful control often begins without force. It begins with belonging. A leader offers certainty, purpose, and a special explanation for why the outside world cannot be trusted. Over time, the group becomes the members' main source of approval and reality. Doubt is framed as weakness. Questions become signs of betrayal. Personal identity slowly folds into the shared mission. What makes cultic influence so disturbing is that intelligent people can be drawn in gradually, through needs that are deeply human. They want meaning. They want community. They want someone to make chaos feel ordered. Some people see this as proof that the mind can be captured through emotion before logic has a chance to defend itself. Others focus on manipulation, isolation, and escalating commitment. The mystery is not why people believe strange things. The greater mystery is how a belief system can become so complete that leaving it feels like losing the entire world. Modern brain interfaces make old mind control fears feel newly possible. For most of history, controlling thoughts from inside the brain sounded like pure fantasy. Today, brain-computer interfaces make the idea feel less distant. These devices can translate neural activity into commands, allowing people to move cursors, control prosthetics, or communicate in ways that once seemed impossible. The medical promise is extraordinary, especially for people whose bodies no longer respond as they wish. Yet every breakthrough also awakens an older fear. If signals can be read, could they be influenced? If intention can be decoded, could privacy eventually reach inside the mind? Current systems are limited, and they do not resemble science fiction mind control. Still, the direction of travel feels profound. Some people celebrate the technology as a new bridge between thought and machine. Others wonder whether the most private part of life could become another data stream. The mystery is no longer whether machines can touch the mind. They already can, at least at the edges. Social media algorithms may shape desires before users notice them. The modern feed does not need to hypnotize anyone in the old theatrical sense. It studies behavior, offers another image, waits for a reaction, then adjusts. Over time, it can learn which topics hold attention, which emotions keep someone scrolling, and which beliefs make them return. This creates a new kind of influence that feels ordinary because it happens inside entertainment. A person may think they are choosing what to watch, while the system is quietly arranging the next temptation. The mystery is not only technological, it is psychological. When a platform predicts desire, it may also train desire. Some people believe this is the most successful mind-shaping system ever built because it works through pleasure rather than pressure. Others see it as a business model that became too powerful by accident. Either way, the result is intimate. Millions of people now live with a private stream that learns what moves them before they fully understand it themselves. Ancient oracles sometimes guided rulers through trance and suggestion. Long before laboratories and intelligence agencies, powerful people sought guidance from voices that seemed to come from beyond ordinary thought. In ancient temples, an oracle might speak in a changed state, while priests, rituals, and expectation shaped the moment around her. Kings and generals could treat those words as divine direction. The result was a form of influence with enormous consequences. A message delivered in trance could steer political choices, delay a campaign, or give courage to a risky decision. Some explanations focus on religion and culture. Others point to performance, altered breathing, intoxicating vapors, or carefully managed ambiguity. Yet the central mystery remains fascinating. When a society believes a voice is sacred, that voice can command more power than any ordinary advisor. It does not need to control every mind. It only needs to shape the mind of someone who rules. In that sense, ancient prophecy may be one of history's earliest forms of guided decision-making. Mesmerism convinced crowds that invisible forces could control the body. In the 18th century, Franz Mesmer became famous for claiming that a hidden natural force could pass through living beings. He believed illness could be affected by this invisible fluid, and his dramatic sessions drew crowds who reported fainting, trembling, relief, and strange emotional release. To skeptics, it looked like theater and expectation. To followers, it seemed like proof that unseen power could move through the human body. The official investigations into Mesmer's claims did not support his theory, but they uncovered something just as intriguing. People could experience dramatic physical effects when belief, authority, and group atmosphere worked together. That discovery helped shape later thinking about hypnosis and suggestion. Mesmer may have been wrong about his mysterious fluid, yet he revealed a real doorway into the mind-body connection. His story still matters because it shows how easily humans can feel controlled by a force they cannot see, especially when everyone in the room expects it. Stage hypnosis raises doubts about performance, pressure, and hidden obedience. A stage hypnotist can make volunteers appear to forget their names, bark like animals, or freeze in place before a laughing audience. The spectacle looks like control, but the mechanism is more complicated. The performer selects people who are willing, responsive, and comfortable being watched. The crowd creates permission to behave unusually. The volunteer may feel swept along by the role, even while some part of them understands the game. That ambiguity makes stage hypnosis fascinating. Is the subject obeying the hypnotist, pleasing the audience, or entering a genuine altered state? The answer may change from person to person. Some participants later insist the experience felt automatic. Others describe choosing to go along because the situation made it easy. The mystery survives because the performance exposes a hidden truth about social life. Under the right conditions, people can do surprising things without feeling entirely responsible. Control may not need to be absolute to feel real. Sleep learning experiments promised knowledge could enter unconscious minds. The dream of learning while asleep has always been tempting. Imagine closing your eyes at night and waking with a new language, a memorized speech, or a solved problem already waiting inside you. Early experiments with sleep learning fed that hope by playing information to sleepers and measuring what remained by morning. Later studies made the picture more cautious. The sleeping brain is not simply an open recorder. It protects rest, filters sound, and handles memory in ways that are far more selective than the old claims suggested. Even so, the subject has never lost its strange appeal. Some research suggests that certain associations, sounds, or emotional cues may influence memory during specific sleep stages. That is enough to keep speculation alive. If sleep can be nudged, perhaps dreams can be shaped. If dreams can be shaped, then the night may not be as private as it feels. The mystery begins where awareness disappears. The Toronto experiments became a disturbing legend of psychic driving. At a psychiatric institute in Canada, a controversial treatment method became one of the most unsettling stories in the history of mind influence. Patients were exposed to repeated recorded messages, sometimes while heavily sedated or placed into prolonged sleep. The goal was to break harmful patterns and rebuild healthier ones, but the methods later drew serious criticism and became linked in public memory with secret behavioral research. The phrase psychic driving sounds almost unreal, yet it described a real attempt to use repetition as a tool for changing the inner life. What makes the story so disturbing is the imbalance between vulnerability and authority. A patient seeking help could become the subject of an experiment that blurred care, control, and coercion. Some people view the episode as a tragic misuse of psychiatry. Others see it as one visible chapter in a larger, hidden program. Its lasting mystery comes from a simple fear. Repetition might reach places argument never could. Radio panic stories revealed how voices could steer public emotion. When a dramatic broadcast about an alien invasion frightened some listeners in the late 1930s, it became a lasting symbol of media power. The actual scale of the panic has been debated, but the legend grew because it captured something real. A trusted medium can make imagined danger feel immediate. Radio was intimate. The voice entered homes, interrupted normal evening life, and carried authority through tone alone. Listeners who joined late or missed the framing could experience fiction as breaking news. That possibility fascinated psychologists, broadcasters, and governments. It suggested that emotion could spread through sound before verification had time to catch up. Some people see the story as exaggerated by newspapers eager to criticize a rival medium. Others treat it as an early warning about mass communication. The mystery is not whether everyone believed. They did not. The real mystery is how quickly a well-delivered story can make the nervous system react as if it were true. Wartime propaganda showed entire nations could be trained to feel. During major conflicts, governments learned that battles were fought not only with weapons, but with attention and emotion. Posters, speeches, films, slogans, and school lessons could turn distant events into personal duty. A neighbor became a hero. A stranger became a threat. Sacrifice became noble when framed through the right story. Propaganda works because it does not always feel like manipulation from the inside. It often feels like loyalty, common sense, or moral clarity. That is what makes it so powerful. People are not simply told what to think. They are shown what to fear, admire, repeat, and defend. Some campaigns were crude. Others were elegant enough to become part of national memory. The mystery is how quickly private feeling can be synchronized across millions of minds. When the same images and phrases surround a population for long enough, emotion begins to feel collective. The individual still chooses, but the available choices may already be arranged. The placebo effect suggests belief can command the body. One of the strangest known powers of the mind is its ability to create real physical change through expectation. A person takes a harmless pill, believes it may help, and sometimes the body responds as though treatment has begun. Pain can soften. Symptoms can shift. Confidence can alter how illness is experienced. This does not mean every disease is imaginary. It means belief can participate in biology in ways that remain deeply mysterious. The placebo effect has forced medicine to take suggestion seriously, even when no active drug is present. It also raises a mind control question with a softer face. If expectation can change sensation, then words, rituals, and authority can influence the body from the outside. Some people see this as proof of hidden healing powers. Others view it as the brain using internal systems that science is still mapping. Either way, it shows that belief is not just an idea. It can become an event inside the body. Fear conditioning proves the mind can learn invisible alarms. A harmless sound can become frightening if it is repeatedly paired with a painful or threatening experience. After that, The body may react before reason has time to speak. The heart speeds up. Muscles tighten. Attention narrows. This process is called fear conditioning, and it shows how the mind can be trained below conscious debate. The alarming part is that the trigger does not need to explain itself. Once learned, it can operate like a hidden switch. A place, a tone, a face, or a phrase may carry emotional force because of an earlier association. In mind control law, this becomes the basis for trigger theories, implanted responses, and claims of programmed behavior. Mainstream science treats it as a natural survival system. Speculative writers wonder whether the same system could be deliberately exploited. The mystery sits between those views. The brain can build alarms without asking permission, and those alarms can steer behavior long after the original danger is gone. Repetition can make false ideas feel strangely familiar. A claim does not always need proof to become persuasive. Sometimes it only needs to return again and again. The mind tends to process familiar information more easily, and that ease can be mistaken for truth. This is why rumors can grow stronger with retelling, even when every version adds nothing new. A phrase heard in conversation, seen in headlines, and repeated by friends may begin to feel like something everyone somehow knows. The effect is subtle, but its consequences are enormous. It can shape public opinion, personal memory, and even the confidence people feel when defending a belief. Some people see repetition as the simplest form of mass programming because it bypasses deep analysis. Others call it a normal shortcut in a busy brain. Both views point toward the same uneasy lesson. The mind often trusts what it has met before. That means control may begin not with a dramatic command, but with a sentence that keeps coming back. Advertising jingles demonstrate how memory can be quietly invaded. A short tune can slip into the mind more easily than an argument. That is why companies have spent decades turning products into melodies. A jingle repeats a name until it no longer feels like information. It feels familiar. Sometimes people remember the tune years after forgetting where they first heard it. That makes the subject stranger than ordinary marketing. Music joins rhythm, emotion, and repetition in a form the brain wants to complete. Once the pattern is learned, it can return without invitation. A person may hum a commercial while walking, cooking, or trying to sleep. In that moment, the advertiser has rented a corner of private thought. Some people see this as harmless cleverness. Others view it as one of the earliest mass experiments in mental placement. The mystery is simple but powerful. A few bright notes can outlive a conversation, bypass resistance, and make a brand feel like an old memory. Cult deprogramming created its own mystery around persuasion and freedom. When families feared that loved ones had been captured by extreme groups, some turned to people who promised to reverse the influence. These interventions were often emotional, intense, and controversial. Supporters believed they were rescuing someone from psychological captivity. Critics saw another form of coercion, aimed in the opposite direction. That is what makes deprogramming so complicated. It forces a difficult question. If a person's beliefs were shaped through pressure, can pressure ever be justified to undo them? The subject became especially charged when former members described confusion after leaving tightly controlled communities. Their old worldview had collapsed, but a new one had to be built quickly. Some deprogrammers used conversation and family memory. Others used confrontation that raised serious ethical concerns. The mystery reaches beyond any single case. Freedom is not always easy to identify from the outside. A rescued person may feel liberated, violated, or both, depending on which story they trust afterward. The Stockholm Syndrome debate explores attachment under extreme pressure. The phrase became famous after a bank robbery in Sweden, where hostages appeared to sympathize with their captors. Since then, it has been used to explain confusing bonds that form under fear, dependency, and isolation. Yet the idea remains debated because human survival is not simple. A captive person may read every mood of the person holding power. Kindness, even tiny kindness, can feel enormous when danger is close. Cooperation can become a strategy rather than a belief. Later, that strategy may look like loyalty to outsiders who were not inside the room. The debate matters because the label can flatten a deeply human response into a catchy explanation. Some people believe it reveals how control can turn fear into attachment. Others warn that the phrase is often used too loosely. The deeper mystery is how the mind protects itself when escape is impossible. Sometimes it may build a bond because a bond feels safer than terror. False memory cases revealed how fragile personal history can become. Most people feel as if memory is a private recording of the past. Yet certain legal and therapeutic controversies showed that memory can be shaped, strengthened, and sometimes distorted by suggestion. A person may come to believe in an event with sincere emotion, even when details were guided by leading questions or repeated imagination. This does not mean all painful memories are false. It means memory is more active than people once assumed. The mind rebuilds the past each time it returns to it. That rebuilding can include expectation, pressure, fear, and desire for explanation. False memory cases became so haunting because they involved real families, real accusations, and real uncertainty. They forced courts and psychologists to ask how confidence should be understood. Some people see these cases as proof that the mind can be rewritten. Others see a warning about careless methods. Either way, personal history may be less like stone and more like wet clay. Interrogation research raised dark questions about pressure and confession. A confession can seem like the strongest proof because people assume no one would admit to something untrue. Yet interrogation research has shown that pressure can twist that assumption. Long questioning, exhaustion, fear, and promises of relief can change how a person thinks about escape from the moment. Some people may confess to end the pressure, expecting the truth to be sorted out later. Others may begin doubting their own memory when authority insists the evidence is overwhelming. This is where the mystery becomes deeply unsettling. If a person can be pushed into accepting a story about themselves, then identity can be bent under controlled conditions. Investigators may believe they are seeking truth, while their methods slowly create the answer they expect. Some people connect this to broader fears about psychological control. The lesson is not that every confession is false. It is that the human need for relief can become more powerful than the need to be believed. Sensory deprivation experiments suggested identity needs constant reality checks. Remove ordinary sound, light, movement, and social contact, and the mind begins to behave in surprising ways. Early sensory deprivation studies found that some participants struggled with focus, experienced strange perceptions, or became unusually eager for stimulation. The brain appears to need a stream of signals to keep reality steady. Without that stream, it may start generating its own patterns. This finding became important far beyond the laboratory. It suggested that identity is not sealed off inside the skull. It is constantly refreshed by the outside world. In mind control law, deprivation becomes a tool for breaking resistance because it weakens the anchors that usually keep a person steady. Some people imagine hidden chambers where silence itself becomes a weapon. Others see a more basic truth about human biology. We are built for contact. The mystery is that a person alone with their own mind may not become more free. They may become more suggestible. Isolation can make the mind unusually hungry for guidance. When people are cut off from familiar voices, their sense of certainty can begin to thin. A group, a captor, or a new belief system may then become the only source of structure. This is why isolation appears again and again in stories of coercive control. It does not need to be a locked room. It can be emotional separation, social shaming, restricted information, or the slow loss of outside trust. Once the old support network fades, the mind may reach for whatever explanation remains available. That explanation can feel comforting because it reduces confusion. In extreme cases, people may accept rules they would have rejected in ordinary life. Some people see isolation as the foundation of most psychological capture. Others argue that it only works when combined with fear and reward. The mystery is still powerful. A person may believe they are choosing freely, while their range of choices has quietly been reduced to one voice. The MC Martin case exposed terrifying problems with implanted memories. A preschool investigation in California became one of the most infamous examples of how fear, questioning, and public panic can combine. Children were interviewed about disturbing allegations, and many claims grew more elaborate as the case expanded. Years of legal proceedings followed, but the case ended without convictions. What remained was a national shock over how easily testimony could be shaped when adults expected hidden horrors. The central issue was not whether children were dishonest. It was whether repeated, leading, or emotionally loaded questioning could produce statements that sounded certain. The case became a warning for therapists, police, parents, and journalists. It also became a haunting chapter in the wider mystery of memory. Some people still believe there were truths buried inside the confusion. Others see the case as a devastating example of suggestion taking control of a community. Its lasting power comes from one terrible possibility. A search for hidden evil can sometimes create its own evidence. Satanic panic showed how fear can spread through suggestion. Across the late 20th century, rumors of secret ritual abuse moved through schools, churches, talk shows, police seminars, and therapy offices. The claims often grew larger than the evidence, yet they spread because they gave shape to a deep cultural fear. People imagined hidden networks operating behind ordinary neighborhoods. Once that idea took hold, almost any strange detail could seem meaningful. A child's drawing, a recovered memory, or a misunderstood symbol could become part of the larger pattern. The panic revealed how suggestion does not only work on individuals. It can work on communities that repeat the same fearful story until skepticism feels unsafe. Some people still believe official explanations dismissed too much. Others see the episode as a warning about moral terror and rumor. The mystery is not only what happened in each case. It is how a society can become convinced that a secret world exists just beneath daily life, then begin finding signs everywhere. Moral panics reveal how communities can share imagined threats. A moral panic begins when a group becomes convinced that something dangerous is spreading through society. The threat may be real, exaggerated, misunderstood, or almost entirely imagined. What matters is the emotional pattern. Stories circulate. Authorities respond. Media attention grows. Ordinary people start watching for signs. Soon, the fear becomes a shared lens through which events are interpreted. This is why moral panics matter in the story of mind influence. They show that control does not always come from one mastermind. Sometimes a whole community participates in shaping its own alarm. People may feel alert and responsible, while their attention is being narrowed by the same story repeated from every direction. Some people connect moral panics to hidden manipulation. Others see them as social immune responses that sometimes misfire. The mystery is that a group can become more certain as its evidence becomes weaker. Fear can make a rumor feel like public knowledge. The Milgram experiment showed obedience could overpower personal conscience. In a famous psychology study, ordinary volunteers were told to deliver what they believed were painful electric shocks to another person. Many continued when an authority figure calmly instructed them to do so. The shocks were not real, but the volunteers did not know that during the experiment. The result shocked the public because the participants were not monsters. They were everyday people placed inside a powerful situation. A lab coat, a formal setting, and steady instructions were enough to make personal discomfort compete with obedience. The study has been debated for its methods and interpretation, but its cultural impact remains enormous. It suggested that conscience is not always a wall. Sometimes it is a voice that can be talked over by authority. Some people see this as one of the clearest demonstrations of social programming. Others emphasize stress, confusion, and trust in institutions. The mystery is how quickly responsibility can feel transferred to someone giving orders. Stanford prison experiment legends changed how people understood roles. A simulated prison study at a university became one of the most famous stories about ordinary people changing under assigned roles. Volunteers were divided into guards and prisoners, and the situation reportedly became troubling enough to stop early. For decades, the story was treated as proof that social roles can transform behavior with alarming speed. Later, criticism challenged parts of the experiment, including how much participants were influenced by expectations and guidance. That debate makes the case even more interesting for a mystery channel. Was it a window into human nature, or a demonstration of how people perform the roles they think a situation demands? Either answer is unsettling. Uniforms, rules, and labels can alter how people see themselves and others. The experiment became a legend because it gave a simple image to a complicated fear. Put someone in a system that rewards control, and the system may begin speaking through them before they realize what has changed. Groupthink explains why smart people can share bad decisions. Some of history's strangest decisions were made not by fools, but by capable people inside confident groups. Groupthink occurs when harmony becomes more important than honest doubt. Members stop raising objections because they do not want to seem disloyal or disruptive. Leaders may receive only the information that confirms what they already hope to do. The group then mistakes agreement for wisdom. This is a quieter form of mind control, but it can be enormously powerful. No one needs to issue secret commands. The pressure comes from belonging and the fear of standing apart. The mystery is especially fascinating because each person may privately sense something is wrong, while the room moves forward as if everyone is certain. Some people see groupthink as a psychological weakness built into institutions. Others suspect it can be encouraged by those who benefit from silence. Either way, it shows that intelligence alone does not protect a mind from coordinated error. Mass hysteria cases suggest emotions can move through crowds. There are cases where groups of people suddenly report similar symptoms, fears, movements, or sensations without a clear physical cause. Schools, workplaces, convents, and small towns have all appeared in these strange accounts. The experience can be real to the people involved, even if the trigger is psychological rather than environmental. That is what makes mass hysteria so misunderstood. It is not simply pretending. It is the body responding to shared stress, expectation, and social signals. In a crowd, one person's fear can become proof for another person's fear. Soon, the reaction spreads like a message without words. Some people explain these cases through anxiety and imitation. Others wonder whether unknown forces, frequencies, or hidden contaminants are sometimes dismissed too quickly. The mystery remains open in the cultural imagination because it reveals how porous the human nervous system can be. Under certain conditions, emotion may travel from person to person faster than reason can follow. Dancing plague stories remain strange warnings about collective behavior. One of the strangest historical reports describes people dancing uncontrollably in the streets of Strasbourg in the early 16th century. The accounts vary, and modern explanations remain uncertain. Some point to stress, religious fear, famine, or social contagion. Others wonder whether illness, poisoning, or altered states played a part. What makes the story so captivating is that it seems to turn the body into a mystery of the crowd. People did not merely share an opinion, they appeared to share a compulsion. The event has become a symbol of how behavior can spread when belief and distress combine. It also raises a deeper mind control question. Can a community enter a state where one person's action becomes another person's instruction without anyone giving an order? Whether the details were exaggerated or not, the legend endures because it feels like a warning from the past. Under the right pressure, the line between choice and contagion can blur. The Mandela effect turned memory errors into a cultural mystery. Millions of people have discovered that they remember certain names, logos, lines, or events differently from the official record. Most explanations involve ordinary memory errors, shared assumptions, and the way the brain fills gaps. Yet the phenomenon became famous because the memories often feel vivid and collective. A person does not merely forget. They feel certain that reality has somehow changed. This has inspired wild theories about alternate timelines, hidden edits to history, and realities brushing against each other. Mainstream thinking does not support those ideas, but the fascination is easy to understand. Memory is supposed to anchor us. When groups of people remember the same wrong thing, the anchor feels less secure. The Mandela effect is less about one mistaken detail and more about trust in experience itself. Some people laugh it off. Others feel an eerie chill. If memory can be wrong with such confidence, then the past inside the mind may be easier to shape than expected. Recovered memory therapy left behind one of psychology's hardest debates. In certain therapeutic settings, people came to believe that important memories had been buried and later returned. For some, this felt like a breakthrough that explained years of distress. For others, it led to claims that were later questioned or withdrawn. The debate became intense because it involved pain, trust, and the authority of mental health professionals. The core mystery is whether memory can hide for years, then reappear accurately, or whether suggestion can create a powerful story that feels recovered. There is evidence that people can avoid thinking about painful experiences. There is also evidence that imagination and repeated questioning can distort memory. That makes the subject difficult to simplify. Some people believe society became too quick to doubt survivors. Others believe vulnerable clients were guided into false certainty. The mystery remains one of the deepest in mind control culture. When someone searches inward for truth, the guide beside them may shape what they find. Dream incubation hints that sleep may be guided from outside. Long before modern sleep labs, people tried to influence dreams with ritual, intention, and carefully chosen surroundings. They hoped the sleeping mind might answer a question or reveal a hidden truth. Today, dream incubation has a more psychological meaning. A person focuses on a subject before sleep, then watches whether the dream world responds. The idea feels ancient and futuristic at the same time. It suggests that consciousness does not simply switch off at night. It may remain open to cues placed near the edge of sleep. Some experiments have used sounds, smells, or prompts to influence dream content in small ways. That possibility is both fascinating and strange. If dreams can be guided, they may become a hidden workshop for memory, emotion, and desire. Some people imagine healing. Others imagine manipulation. The mystery is not whether every dream has a message. It is whether the doorway into dreaming can be nudged by someone who knows how. Lucid dreaming raises questions about control inside private worlds. In a lucid dream, a person realizes they are dreaming while the dream continues. That moment can feel like discovering a secret control room inside the mind. Some dreamers fly, speak to dream figures, rehearse skills, or face fears in a world made from their own awareness. The phenomenon is well reported, yet it still feels almost impossible when described aloud. The sleeping brain creates a reality convincing enough to inhabit, then allows the dreamer to notice the illusion from within it. This raises strange questions about control. If a person can become aware inside a dream, who is building the dream around them? Why do dream characters sometimes resist the dreamer's commands? Some people see lucid dreaming as a tool for creativity and therapy. Others treat it as evidence that consciousness has hidden layers. In the larger mystery of mind control, it offers a twist. Perhaps the mind can be controlled from outside, but perhaps it can also wake up inside itself. Binaural beats inspired claims about frequency-based mental influence. The idea sounds simple enough to be irresistible. Play one tone in one ear, a slightly different tone in the other, and the brain may perceive a third rhythmic pulse. From there, claims grew quickly. Some recordings promised relaxation, focus, sleep, creativity, all altered states. The scientific evidence is mixed, and the effects are often modest compared with the boldest promises. Still, binaural beats became popular because they offer a technological doorway into mood. A listener only needs headphones and curiosity. The experience can feel personal, almost as if the sound is working behind ordinary hearing. Some people believe specific frequencies can tune consciousness like an instrument. Others say the effects mostly come from expectation, calming routines, and ordinary auditory processing. The mystery survives because sound undeniably changes feeling. Music can energize or calm a room within seconds. Binaural beats take that everyday truth and make it feel like a hidden code for the brain. Brainwave entrainment became a gateway into modern consciousness experiments. Brainwave entrainment is based on the idea that rhythmic stimulation may encourage the brain to match certain patterns. Flashing lights, pulsing sounds, and vibrating signals have all been used in attempts to guide attention or relaxation. The concept sits between meditation, neuroscience, self-help, and fringe exploration. That mixture makes it especially interesting. Some devices are sold as tools for focus or stress relief. Others are surrounded by bigger claims about altered consciousness, psychic openness, or hidden mental abilities. The careful evidence is more limited than the bold marketing, but the basic question remains fascinating. Can the brain be led by rhythm? Humans already march to drums, relax to slow music, and become alert when alarms sound. Entrainment theories extend that principle into more precise territory. Some people see a future of safe mental tuning. Others fear a quieter form of technological influence. The mystery is whether rhythm merely accompanies the mind, or whether it can steer it. Television flicker theories linked screens to mood and attention. As television entered everyday life, some people began wondering whether the screen affected more than entertainment. A flickering image holds the eyes in a steady pattern. It changes light, sound, pacing, and attention all at once. Viewers often sit still for long periods, while stories, advertisements, and emotional cues pass before them. This led to theories that television could place people in a more suggestible state. Some claims became exaggerated, especially when they described viewers as almost hypnotized. Yet the underlying concern is not foolish. Screens do guide attention powerfully. They can change mood, set expectations, and make distant events feel immediate. Some people suspect the medium was always used as a tool for mass conditioning. Others see it as a technology that naturally rewards passive absorption. The mystery is that television does not need to force belief directly. It can simply become the room where belief is rehearsed, night after night, until certain stories feel normal. Cinema subliminals made audiences fear messages hidden between frames. Movie theaters became the perfect setting for one of the great fears of hidden influence. Audiences sat in darkness, focused on a giant screen, while images flashed faster than conscious attention could easily follow. Claims spread that secret commands could be inserted between frames to make people buy snacks, feel emotions, or absorb ideas without knowing why. Some famous early stories were later challenged, but the fear had already become part of modern culture. Cinema felt powerful because it surrounded the senses. It could make people cry over strangers, fear imaginary monsters, and remember scenes for a lifetime. If visible images could do all that, hidden images seemed even more disturbing. Some people see subliminal cinema as mostly myth. Others believe the public was reassured too quickly. The mystery is not only whether specific messages worked. It is the deeper suspicion that a screen can speak to parts of the mind that never ask permission. Backmasking controversies suggested music might speak beneath awareness. During past moral panics about popular music, some listeners claimed that hidden messages could be heard when records were played backward. The alleged phrases were often sinister, and the controversy turned ordinary songs into puzzles. Many supposed messages were probably created by expectation. Once someone tells you what to hear, the brain can search the noise until the phrase appears. Yet that explanation does not make the phenomenon boring. It makes it stranger. Backmasking shows how perception can be guided by suggestion even when the evidence is ambiguous. A sound that once meant nothing can suddenly feel unmistakable. Musicians, critics, parents, and broadcasters all became part of a debate about whether art could conceal influence below awareness. Some people believed hidden messages were deliberate. Others saw fear creating patterns from randomness. The mystery remains because music already enters memory so deeply. If a melody can haunt the mind, people wonder what else may be riding beneath it. The Mozart effect showed how easily intelligence claims can spread. A small research finding about listening to Mozart and short-term spatial performance grew into a huge cultural belief that classical music could make people smarter. Parents bought recordings. Products appeared. The idea was repeated so often that it became common knowledge for a while, even though the original science was far narrower than the public claim. This is a perfect mind control lesson because it shows how a hopeful message can outrun its evidence. People wanted the claim to be true. It offered a simple path to improvement, wrapped in sophistication and ease. Just press play, and intelligence might rise. Later discussion became more cautious, but the myth had already done its work. Some people see it as harmless enthusiasm. Others see a miniature model of mass persuasion. A claim enters through science, gets simplified by media, and becomes a behavior in millions of homes. The mystery is how easily the desire to believe can become part of the evidence. Neuromarketing promises to read desire before choices become conscious. Neuromarketing grew from a bold question. What if companies could measure how the brain responds before a customer explains what they want? Instead of relying only on surveys, researchers could track attention, emotion, and reward signals while people view products or advertisements. The promise is seductive. Consumers often do not know why they choose one thing over another. A scan, a sensor, or a reaction time test might reveal the hidden preference first. This turns shopping into something much stranger than a simple decision. It becomes a contest over the unconscious. Critics warn that the field can overstate what brain data really proves. Supporters say it helps explain behavior more honestly than asking people to describe feelings they barely understand. Some people worry that desire itself could be engineered with greater precision. The mystery is not whether brands want influence. They clearly do. The real question is whether the next marketplace will learn to speak directly to the hidden mind. Eye tracking reveals the hidden paths attention follows. The eyes often move before a person can explain why. Eye tracking technology records those movements, revealing which faces, words, colors, or objects capture attention first. In advertising, design, politics, and security, that information can be surprisingly valuable. It shows not what people claim they noticed, but what their attention actually touched. The mystery is that attention feels private from the inside. Yet with the right tools, it can be mapped from the outside. A website can learn where visitors hesitate. A poster can be redesigned because the eye ignored the important part. A product package can be altered so the gaze lands exactly where the seller wants it. Some people view this as useful research. Others see it as another step toward engineering choice at the level of reflex. Eye tracking does not control the mind by itself, but it reveals the route into the mind, and once that route is known, someone may try to shape the road. Facial coding claims emotions can be measured before words appear. A face can change in tiny ways before a person speaks. A brief tightening near the mouth, a quick lift around the eyes, or a flicker of surprise may reveal an emotional response that the person has not chosen to share. Facial coding attempts to measure those signals and translate them into useful information. Companies have tested it on advertisements. Security systems have imagined using it to read intent. Researchers debate how reliable these interpretations are, especially across cultures and situations. Still, the idea is gripping because it turns the face into a possible leak from the inner world. A person may say the product is fine, while their expression says boredom. They may claim calm, while a system detects tension. Some people see this as the future of honest feedback. Others fear a world where emotions are harvested before consent. The mystery is whether technology can truly read feeling, or whether it will simply create a new kind of suspicion. Lie detection technology raised doubts about who controls truth. The dream of a machine that can expose deception has fascinated police, governments, employers, and storytellers for generations. If truth could be measured, then hidden motives might finally lose their protection. But lie detection has always been surrounded by doubt. Traditional methods often measure stress rather than lying itself. A truthful person can be anxious. A practiced liar can appear calm. Newer systems claim to analyze the brain, the voice, the eyes, or tiny body signals, yet the same problem remains. Human truth is not a single switch waiting to be read. The danger is that a machine may sound more certain than it deserves. Once an authority accepts its result, the person being tested can feel trapped inside someone else's interpretation. Some people believe better tools will eventually find the signal of deception. Others think the search is partly a fantasy of control. The mystery is who gets to decide when a machine has spoken for the mind. Polygraph failures made deception itself seem harder to capture. The polygraph became famous because it turned inner conflict into moving lines on a page. It measured breathing, pulse, blood pressure, and skin response while questions were asked. To the public, it looked like truth becoming visible. In reality, the machine detected bodily arousal, which can come from many causes. Fear of being disbelieved can look suspicious. Shame can complicate an innocent answer. Training and personality can also affect the result. This gap between image and reality made the polygraph one of the most intriguing tools in the history of psychological control. Even when its accuracy is questioned, its presence can influence behavior. People may confess because they believe the machine already knows. In that sense, the device can become persuasive even when the science is uncertain. Some people call it a prop with power. Others argue it still has investigative value when used carefully. The mystery is that the fear of detection may reveal more than the detector itself. Micro-expression training suggests faces may reveal unwanted secrets. A micro-expression is a very brief facial movement that may appear when someone tries to conceal emotion. The idea became famous because it promised a way to see through the social mask. Investigators, negotiators, and security professionals have all been interested in whether these tiny signals can expose fear, anger, contempt, or surprise. The appeal is obvious. If the face betrays the mind, then secrecy is less secure than it feels. Yet the subject is more complicated than popular versions suggest. A fleeting expression does not automatically reveal a lie. It may show emotion without explaining its cause. A person might look afraid because they are guilty or because they are innocent and terrified of being judged. This makes micro-expression training both fascinating and dangerous. It offers the possibility of deeper perception, but also the risk of overconfidence. The mystery is whether human faces are windows, mirrors, or riddles. A trained observer may see more, but not always know what it means. Predictive policing debates show how data can shape suspicion. The idea sounds efficient at first. Feed past crime reports into a system, find patterns, and send officers where trouble seems most likely. But the mystery begins when old data becomes a map for future attention. If certain neighborhoods were watched more closely in the past, they may produce more recorded incidents. That record can then justify even more attention, which creates a loop that looks objective from the outside. A machine may seem neutral, but it can inherit the habits and blind spots of the people who built its world. This raises a deeper mind control question about suspicion itself. If an algorithm points at a place or person, does the human observer start seeing danger more easily? Some people see predictive policing as a useful tool. Others see it as automated bias wearing the mask of mathematics. The unsettling part is that control may begin before any command is given. It begins by shaping where attention lands. Recommendation systems can trap attention inside invisible feedback loops. A recommendation system does not usually announce itself as an influence machine. It simply offers one more video, song, article, or product that seems to fit. Each small choice teaches the system something. A pause, a click, a replay, or a skipped item becomes part of a private portrait. Over time, the system may stop showing the wider world and start showing the version most likely to hold attention. That is where the loop becomes powerful. The user trains the machine, then the machine trains the user back. Interests can sharpen. Fears can deepen. Curiosity can be guided into narrower corridors. Some people see this as personalization. Others see it as a new kind of behavioral cage, built from convenience. The mystery is not that the system knows everything. It does not. The mystery is that it may only need to know one thing very well. It needs to know what keeps you watching. Personalized feeds may build private realities around each person. Two people can open the same platform and step into completely different worlds. One sees crisis. Another sees comedy. Someone else sees politics, health warnings, spiritual claims, or endless arguments about hidden power. Each feed feels natural because it is built from previous behavior. The platform does not say, "Here is your custom reality." It simply continues the pattern. Over time, the outside world can seem to confirm whatever the feed has been emphasizing. This is one reason personalized media feels so mysterious. It does not only deliver information, it can change the emotional weather around a person's daily life. Some people believe this is how public opinion is being quietly separated into sealed chambers. Others argue that users still choose what they follow. Both views may contain part of the truth. The deeper question is harder. If every mind receives a different version of reality, what happens to shared judgment, shared memory, and shared trust? Deepfakes threaten to rewrite trust in memory and evidence. For generations, video felt like a final witness. If a camera captured someone speaking or acting, people treated it as solid ground. Deepfake technology breaks that comfort. A face can be placed onto another body. A voice can be matched to words never spoken. A scene can look real enough to spread before careful checking catches up. The danger is not only that false evidence may fool people. The danger is that real evidence may become easier to dismiss. Anyone caught in an inconvenient truth can claim it was manufactured. This creates a strange double effect. Fabrication becomes more believable, while reality becomes less secure. Some people see deepfakes as the perfect tool for future psychological operations. Others focus on entertainment, satire, and creative uses. But the mind control angle is clear. When trust in sight and sound begins to collapse, people may rely more heavily on tribe, emotion, and the voices they already believe. Voice cloning makes persuasion feel possible through borrowed identities. A familiar voice can lower defenses before the mind begins to think. That is why voice cloning feels so intimate and unsettling. It does not merely copy sound. It borrows trust. A loved one, a public figure, or a trusted authority could seem to speak words they never chose. The technology has useful purposes in accessibility and media production, but its misuse raises a powerful question. How much of obedience comes from the message, and how much comes from the person we think is speaking? A fake call may work because the listener reacts emotionally before doubt arrives. A false recording may travel because the voice feels correct. Some people see this as the next frontier of fraud and influence. Others imagine it being used in political confusion or personal manipulation. The mystery is that identity has always lived partly in sound. When sound can be copied, one of the oldest signals of human presence becomes unstable. Targeted political ads turned voting behavior into a modern mystery. Political persuasion used to happen through speeches, posters, debates, and broad broadcasts. Now, messages can be shaped for narrow groups and delivered in private. One voter may receive fear. Another may receive hope. A third may receive a story designed around a single concern. This makes influence harder to see because the public no longer watches the same campaign. The message arrives quietly, often between entertainment and personal updates. Its power comes from timing, emotion, and data. The voter may feel they encountered an issue naturally when the encounter was carefully arranged. Some people view targeted ads as ordinary campaigning with better tools. Others see them as psychological targeting at national scale. The mystery is not whether every ad changes a vote. Many do not. The real mystery is whether enough tiny nudges delivered to the right people at the right moment can move history while leaving almost no visible footprint. Cambridge Analytica became shorthand for digital influence and hidden profiling. The scandal mattered because it gave a name to fears people already had. Data from online activity could be gathered, analyzed, and used to build psychological profiles. Those profiles could then guide political messaging in ways that felt personal, even when voters did not realize why they were seeing a particular message. The details remain debated, especially the actual power of the methods. But the cultural impact was enormous. It made people wonder whether their likes, shares, and personality traces had become tools in someone else's strategy. The story also shifted the mind control conversation into the digital age. Instead of secret rooms and strange drugs, the new laboratory was the everyday internet. Some people see it as overhyped marketing. Others believe it revealed a hidden industry of persuasion. The mystery remains because the public only glimpsed part of the machinery. Once people learned that their own behavior could be turned back toward them, trust changed. Behavioral nudges show small design choices can guide decisions. A nudge is not a command. It is a quiet arrangement of choices that makes one path easier than another. Place the healthier food at eye level, and more people may choose it. Make saving money the default, and fewer people opt out. Put a reminder at the right moment, and behavior shifts without anyone feeling forced. This sounds helpful, and it often can be. But nudges raise a fascinating question about freedom. If a choice is technically open, yet the environment is designed to steer it, how free does the decision feel? Governments, companies, and apps have all explored this space because tiny adjustments can change large populations. Supporters say nudges respect choice. Critics worry that they make manipulation polite and almost invisible. The mystery is that people may resist obvious control while accepting design without question. A door left slightly open can guide more movement than a wall. Dark patterns prove websites can pressure people without force. A website can make one decision bright, simple, and inviting, while making another decision confusing or hidden. Canceling a subscription may require several screens. Refusing tracking may involve dull buttons and unclear wording. Accepting may take one easy click. These design tricks are called dark patterns, and they reveal how digital spaces can pressure behavior while preserving the appearance of choice. The user may technically be free, but the path has been tilted. This is mind control in its most ordinary modern form. No one whispers commands. The interface does the work. It uses impatience, confusion, habit, and fatigue. Some people see dark patterns as aggressive sales tactics. Others view them as proof that the internet has become a behavioral maze. The mystery is that the control often feels like personal failure. A person thinks they missed something when the design was built to make missing it likely. The trap hides inside convenience. Casino architecture studies how environments can bend time and choice. A casino is not just a building with games inside. It is an environment built around attention. Lighting, sound, carpet patterns, machine placement, and the absence of obvious clocks can all contribute to a world where ordinary time feels less important. The goal is not to control a person like a puppet. It is to make staying feel natural. Small wins create sparks of hope. Near misses keep the mind engaged. The route to the exit may be less obvious than the route to the next game. This makes casinos one of the clearest examples of design behavior. Every detail asks the same question. What keeps a person playing? Some people see this as entertainment architecture. Others see it as a laboratory of desire, risk, and reward. The mystery is that no single element needs to dominate the mind. The room itself becomes the influence, surrounding the decision before the decision is made. Supermarket layouts quietly choreograph attention, appetite, and spending. A trip to buy groceries can feel simple, but the store has already made many decisions before the shopper arrives. Essentials may sit far from the entrance, encouraging movement through more aisles. bright produce can create a feeling of freshness at the beginning. Impulse items wait near checkout, where patience is lower and small temptations feel harmless. Music, lighting, shelf height, and product placement all help guide the route. This is not mind control in a dramatic sense. It is environmental persuasion, repeated so often that people barely notice it. The mystery is how much ordinary behavior happens inside spaces designed to predict weakness. A shopper may believe every purchase came from need, yet the store has staged reminders, cravings, and convenience at carefully chosen points. Some people admire the efficiency. Others find it unsettling. When an environment understands appetite better than the shopper does, freedom begins to look more complicated. Color psychology claims surroundings can steer moods and actions. Colors carry associations that can affect how a space feels. A red sign may seem urgent. A blue room may feel calmer. A yellow package may appear cheerful or inexpensive. These effects are often simplified in popular culture, and they can change across context and culture. Still, the basic idea remains fascinating. The mind does not encounter color as neutral information. It responds with memory, emotion, and expectation. Designers, advertisers, schools, hospitals, and restaurants have all considered how color might influence behavior. Some claims are overstated, especially when they promise precise effects from one shade alone. But color clearly helps frame decisions before words appear. A product can feel premium, playful, safe, or alarming before anyone reads the label. Some people see this as visual language. Others see a soft form of emotional steering. The mystery is that a person may think they are reacting to meaning, while the first influence came from a surface. Scent marketing suggests memory can be triggered through the air. Smell has a direct route into memory and emotion. A certain fragrance can return a person to a childhood room, a vacation, or a person they have not seen in years. Businesses noticed this power and began using scent to shape experience. A hotel lobby might smell clean and expensive. A store may use a signature fragrance to make the brand feel familiar. A bakery scent can make hunger arrive before the customer sees food. This kind of influence is especially strange because people often do not notice it consciously. The air simply feels welcoming, comforting, or desirable. Some people call scent marketing a clever enhancement of atmosphere. Others see it as one of the most intimate forms of persuasion because it enters the body with every breath. The mystery is that smell can create emotion before thought has organized itself. A memory may open, a desire may rise, and the person may never know what unlocked it. Crowd control sound devices raised fears about invisible pressure. Sound can command a crowd without touching anyone. Loud alarms, sharp tones, and focused audio beams can create discomfort, confusion, or urgency. Some crowd control systems are designed to project sound over distance with unusual intensity. Their stated purpose is often communication or dispersal, but they naturally raise questions about the boundary between warning and coercion. A voice through such a device can feel less like speech and more like force. The body reacts before the mind debates. Ears hurt. Attention narrows. Movement becomes the simplest relief. This is why sound technology belongs in the wider story of influence. It proves that control does not always need visible barriers. Some people worry that more advanced acoustic tools could affect mood or behavior in subtler ways. Others argue that the known devices are mainly loud and unpleasant. The mystery remains because sound is invisible. When pressure arrives through the air, it feels almost ghostly, even when the machine is real. Infrasound legends connect low frequencies with dread and unease. Infrasound sits below the normal range of human hearing, Yet some people believe it can still affect the body. Stories link low frequencies to anxiety, chills, pressure in the chest, and the eerie feeling that something unseen is present. Some haunted place explanations have even pointed toward vibrating fans, machinery, or natural forces producing frequencies that people feel more than hear. The science is complex, and many dramatic claims remain uncertain. But the idea has become a favorite in mystery circles because it offers a physical explanation for supernatural dread. It also suggests a hidden form of influence. What if a person's fear could be triggered by sound they never consciously noticed? Some researchers study how low-frequency vibration affects perception and comfort. Speculative thinkers imagine weapons, rituals, or secret installations. The mystery is not simply whether infrasound creates fear every time. It is whether the body can receive messages that the conscious mind never hears. The hum phenomenon makes some listeners suspect hidden environmental influence. Around the world, some people report hearing a persistent low hum that others nearby cannot detect. It may appear at night, follow them through rooms, or seem to come from no clear direction. Explanations range from industrial equipment and electrical systems to tinnitus, stress, and unusual sensitivity to vibration. Yet for those who hear it, the experience can feel deeply unsettling. A sound without a visible source invites suspicion. Is it a machine? Is it the body? Is it something being transmitted? The hum has become a modern mystery because it sits between environment and perception. Communities sometimes search for the cause together, while officials struggle to identify anything definite. Some people believe unknown infrastructure is affecting certain individuals. Others argue that many cases have ordinary explanations that are difficult to prove. The mind control angle comes from the feeling of intrusion. When a sound enters private life and cannot be escaped, it begins to feel like influence. Havana syndrome sparked debate over waves, weapons, and perception. Reports from diplomats and officials described sudden, strange sensations, headaches, dizziness, and cognitive difficulties linked to incidents in Havana and elsewhere. The cases triggered intense debate about possible causes. Some discussions focused on directed energy, microwave effects, surveillance devices, environmental factors, or mass psychogenic explanations. The uncertainty made the story more powerful. Here was a modern mystery involving government personnel, invisible forces, and symptoms that seemed to arrive without a clear source. It sounded like something from a Cold War file, yet it unfolded in the present day. Official assessments have not produced a simple public answer that satisfies everyone. Some people believe a secret weapon was involved. Others think expectation, illness, and ordinary causes became tangled in a highly sensitive environment. The fascination comes from the gap between experience and proof. When invisible harm is suspected, every sound and sensation can become a clue. The mind begins searching for an enemy it cannot see. Voice of God weapons became a legend of projected commands. One of the most persistent modern legends imagines technology that can project speech into a person's head or direct a message so precisely that it seems to come from nowhere. The nickname is dramatic, and the claims around it vary widely. Some versions describe battlefield tools meant to frighten or confuse opponents. Others imagine crowd control, religious manipulation, or secret experiments in obedience. Known technologies can transmit highly focused sound under certain conditions, and microwave auditory effects have been studied. But the grander claims often move beyond confirmed public evidence. That uncertainty is exactly why the legend survives. It gives technical clothing to an ancient fear. A voice appears, authority is implied, and the listener may not know whether the source is human, divine, mechanical, or internal. Some people dismiss the idea as exaggerated folklore. Others suspect the public only knows the mildest versions. The mystery is terrifyingly simple. A command is most powerful when its source cannot be challenged. Microwave auditory effects fueled stories of sound inside the skull. Researchers have reported that pulsed microwave energy can produce the perception of clicks or sounds in some circumstances. That known effect became the seed for many larger stories. If energy could make sound seem to appear inside the head, people wondered what else might be possible. Could words be transmitted? Could thoughts be disrupted? Could a person be influenced without speakers, wires, or visible equipment? Public evidence for dramatic mind control claims remains limited, but the basic phenomenon has kept speculation alive for decades. It feels like a doorway between physics and perception. Sound normally travels through air into the ear. Here, the sensation seems to arise through a stranger route. Some people see this as a narrow scientific curiosity. Others see it as proof that invisible technologies could target the nervous system in ways the public barely understands. The mystery grows because the skull feels like the final private room. Any technology that seems to enter it becomes instantly legendary. Directed energy speculation keeps returning to mind control folklore. The phrase directed energy carries a special charge in mystery culture. It suggests invisible beams, focused power, and effects that may leave few obvious traces. Real directed energy research exists in areas such as communication, sensing, and weapons development. But around that reality, a much wider fog of speculation has gathered. People imagine tools that can disturb sleep, create voices, alter mood, or pressure thoughts from a distance. Some claims are unsupported, yet they persist because the concept feels technically possible enough to haunt the imagination. It also fits a larger pattern. When people experience strange symptoms without a clear cause, invisible technology can become an explanation that feels both modern and frightening. Skeptics point to stress, illness, coincidence, and rumor. Believers point to secrecy, military interest, and the long history of classified research. The mystery remains because invisible force is hard to disprove in the public mind. Absence of proof can start to feel like part of the cover. Implant fears grew as electronics entered the human body. Medical implants can restore hearing, regulate heart rhythms, deliver medication, and help people regain functions they feared were lost forever. These devices are often life-changing in the best sense. Yet the moment electronics entered the body, another kind of story began growing beside the medical one. People wondered whether a device inside the flesh could also become a tracker, receiver, controller, or hidden channel. Some fears are fueled by misunderstanding. Others come from the real fact that connected devices can transmit data and require security. The body no longer seems completely separate from networks, batteries, software, and remote updates. That change is profound. Some people see implants as a miracle of medicine. Others imagine a future where the body becomes accessible to institutions or corporations. The mystery is not whether every implant is suspicious. They are not. The deeper mystery is how quickly healing technology can also awaken the ancient fear of being secretly owned. Neuralink made brain-machine connection feel like tomorrow's doorway. Brain implants have existed in medical research for years, but Neuralink brought the idea into mainstream conversation with unusual force. Suddenly, millions of people were imagining a future where thought might communicate directly with computers. The hopeful vision is remarkable. A person who cannot move could control a device. Communication could return where speech has been lost. New forms of treatment may eventually appear. But the darker questions arrived at the same time. If a system can read brain signals, who stores that information? If a device can stimulate neural activity, who decides what counts as treatment? If upgrades become possible, who remains fully human in the old sense? The company itself is only one part of a much larger frontier, but it became a symbol. Some people see liberation. Others see the first step toward mental surveillance. The mystery is that the doorway may open for healing while leading toward questions society has barely begun to ask. Deep brain stimulation shows electricity can alter mood and movement. Doctors can place electrodes in specific brain regions and use controlled electrical pulses to reduce symptoms in certain neurological conditions. For some patients, the results can feel almost miraculous. Tremors may calm. Movement may become smoother. In some cases, mood and motivation can shift as well. This is not fantasy mind control. It is careful medicine, performed for serious reasons. Yet its existence changes how people imagine the self. If electricity in a small area can alter movement, emotion, or impulse, then personality begins to look partly electrical. That thought is both beautiful and unsettling. Some patients describe feeling more like themselves after treatment. Others have reported changes that raise questions about identity and consent. The mind control mystery appears at the edge of healing. If stimulation can restore balance, could it also be used to guide behavior in less obvious ways? The technology reveals a truth that sounds like science fiction. The inner life has switches. Transcranial magnetic stimulation suggests thought patterns can be externally nudged. A magnetic coil placed near the head can influence electrical activity in the brain without surgery. This technique is used in medicine and research, especially in relation to mood and brain function. To many people, that alone sounds astonishing. A machine outside the skull can affect activity inside it. The effects are targeted, limited, and far from cinematic control. Still, the symbolic power is enormous. It suggests that the boundary between mind and machine is not as solid as ordinary life makes it feel. Some sessions aim to relieve depression. Experiments have explored attention, movement, perception, and decision-making. The careful science is measured and cautious, but speculation goes much further. Some people imagine future devices that tune personality or focus on demand. Others fear unwanted influence through more advanced systems. The mystery is not whether today's tools can command thoughts. They cannot in that simple way. The mystery is where repeated nudging might eventually lead. Focused ultrasound may reach deep brain circuits without surgery. Focused ultrasound sounds almost impossible when described plainly. Beams of sound energy can be aimed through the skull toward precise brain regions, sometimes affecting tissue or activity without opening the head. In medicine, this has already been explored for movement disorders and other conditions. The attraction is obvious. Surgeons may one day reach deep targets with far less invasion than older methods required. But the mind-controlled imagination hears something else as well. If sound can be focused into the brain, could future versions influence mood, fear, memory, or desire? Responsible researchers focus on treatment and safety, but the speculative questions are hard to stop. The technology turns sound into a tool that can act beneath the surface of thought. Some people see it as a medical breakthrough. Others see a glimpse of remote neuromodulation. The mystery is that the same principle which may heal the brain also forces us to ask who should be allowed to touch it. Optogenetics proved animal behavior could be changed with light. In laboratories, scientists develop methods that make selected brain cells responsive to light. When those cells are activated, animals can show changes in movement, fear, reward, or other behaviors. The technique is precise, elegant, and deeply strange. It does not mean humans can be controlled with a flashlight. The method requires genetic preparation and specialized equipment. But as a proof of principle, it transformed imagination. Behavior could be linked to circuits, and circuits could be switched with light. For mystery thinkers, this is one of the most mind-bending discoveries of modern neuroscience. It suggests that actions which feel whole and personal may depend on tiny biological pathways. Some people see only medical promise and a better understanding of the brain. Others see the beginning of a future where behavior is engineered at a level once reserved for fiction. The mystery is not that animals became machines. They did not. The mystery is that the machinery of choice became visible. Memory editing research transformed forgetting into a scientific frontier. Memory once seemed like something life did to us. We could remember, forget, or misremember, but not deliberately rewrite the emotional force of the past. Modern research has challenged that assumption. Scientists have explored ways to weaken fear memories, alter associations, and interfere with the process that stabilizes memory after recall. The possibilities are enormous. A traumatic memory might lose its power. A phobia might loosen. Addiction cues might become less gripping. Yet every hopeful application comes with a troubling shadow. If memories help define identity, what happens when they become adjustable? Some people dream of relief from pain. Others worry about tampering with lessons, guilt, loyalty, or truth. The research is not a simple erase button, but it shows that memory is more dynamic than it feels. The mind control mystery is profound. If the emotional meaning of a memory can be changed, then the past itself may not control us as firmly as we believed. Fear erasure studies raised questions about who owned trauma. Scientists have studied whether fear responses can be reduced by changing how memories are reconsolidated after being recalled. The idea is powerful because trauma can feel like the past continuing to command the present. If that command could be weakened, many people might find relief. But the subject also raises difficult questions. Fear is not only suffering. It can be warning, evidence, identity, and survival knowledge. If a treatment softens fear too much, what else might change? A person may want peace, but also want their history respected. Some people view fear erasure as a compassionate frontier. Others worry about a future where painful memory is treated as a defect to be edited away. In conspiracy-minded circles, the idea easily expands into darker speculation about soldiers, witnesses, or citizens made less troubled by what they have seen. The mystery is not only whether fear can be erased. It is who should ever have the right to decide. Psychedelic therapy revived debates about suggestibility and inner programming. Psychedelic therapy has returned to public attention because some studies and personal accounts describe powerful shifts in mood, meaning, and self-understanding. Under guided conditions, people may revisit memories, feel new emotional connections, or see their lives from a radically different angle. Supporters view this as healing. Skeptics warn that these states can also heighten suggestibility. A phrase from a guide, a belief in the room, or an expectation brought into the session may shape what the experience means afterward. That makes the subject deeply relevant to mind control. A person in an altered state may be open in ways that are precious and vulnerable at the same time. Some people imagine spiritual insight. Others imagine psychological imprinting. The difference may depend on setting, intention, trust, and interpretation. The mystery is that the mind can become unusually flexible during these experiences. Flexibility can help a person heal, but it can also make the person easier to lead. Scopolamine legends turned a real drug into folklore of obedience. Scopolamine is a real substance with medical uses and serious risks, but its reputation has grown into something much larger. Stories describe people becoming compliant, confused, or unable to remember what happened while under its influence. In some versions, the drug becomes almost magical. A victim supposedly follows instructions like a sleepwalker, then wakes with missing time. Many of the most dramatic claims are difficult to verify, and the reality is more complex than the legend. Intoxication, memory disruption, fear, and criminal manipulation can combine in ways that later sound supernatural. Still, the folklore persists because it touches an ancient terror. What if a chemical could lower the guard of the self? What if obedience could be created not through belief, but through biology? Some people warn that the stories are exaggerated. Others believe authorities understate the danger. The mystery survives because the mind depends on chemistry, and chemistry can sometimes make a person feel absent from their own choices. Truth serum experiments exposed the fantasy of perfect confession. The idea of truth serum is one of the most tempting promises in the history of interrogation. Give someone a substance, lower their resistance, and the hidden truth will supposedly rise to the surface. But the real story is far more slippery. Drugs used in these experiments could make people relaxed, confused, talkative, or suggestible, yet that did not make them accurate. A person under the influence might reveal something real, invent something strange, or agree with an idea placed in front of them. That uncertainty made truth serum both fascinating and unreliable. Governments, doctors, police, and intelligence agencies all had reasons to hope it might work. The fantasy was simple. A chemical key could unlock the mind. The mystery is that the key never opened a clean door. It opened a room full of memory, fear, imagination, and pressure. In the end, the search for perfect confession revealed how hard truth is to separate from the state of the person speaking. Sodium pentothal became famous despite unreliable claims about honesty. For decades, this drug was surrounded by a powerful public myth. Movies and news stories treated it as a chemical shortcut to the truth, as if the right injection could make deception impossible. In reality, its effects were more complicated. It could reduce inhibition and make someone more willing to speak, but it could also produce confusion, fantasy, exaggeration, and compliance. That made it dangerous as a tool for certainty. A person might sound open while becoming less reliable. The legend survived because people wanted a simple answer to a difficult problem. How do you know what another mind is hiding? In trials, investigations, and spy stories, the drug became a symbol of exposed secrets. Some people believed it worked better than officials admitted. Others saw it as a lesson in wishful thinking. The mystery remains compelling because honesty is not only about willingness. It also depends on memory, fear, interpretation, and a fragile condition of the mind. LSD trials created lasting myths about shattered identity and control. When researchers and intelligence agencies explored LSD, they were not just studying an unusual drug. They were studying whether ordinary reality could be loosened. The substance could alter perception, dissolve familiar boundaries, intensify emotion, and make the world feel charged with meaning. In careful settings, some hoped it might reveal new paths in therapy. In darker settings, others wondered whether it could disorient a person, weaken resistance, or open the mind to suggestion. The stories that followed became legendary. Some were documented. Others grew through rumor and fear. LSD became linked with secret tests, counterculture transformation, spiritual awakening, and psychological breakdown. That range is exactly why it remains so mysterious. It did not point in only one direction. It could seem like a doorway, a weapon, a medicine, or a trap, depending on who held it and why. The mind control question still lingers. When identity becomes flexible, who gets to shape what it becomes next? Project Artichoke explored influence before MK Ultra became widely known. Before the most infamous program entered public memory, another secret effort had already been asking disturbing questions. Could a person be made to act against their will? Could hypnosis, drugs, isolation, or pressure create a controllable state? Could someone be pushed into revealing secrets or accepting instructions without ordinary resistance? The project belongs to a period when Cold War fear made almost any hidden possibility seem urgent. Officials worried that enemy powers might already possess techniques for controlling thought, and that fear encouraged experiments at the edge of ethics. What makes this earlier chapter so important is that it shows the search did not begin with one famous name. It grew from a larger atmosphere of suspicion. Some people see it as proof that agencies were chasing fantasies. Others believe it shows how seriously invisible influence was taken behind closed doors. The mystery is not only what was tried, it is how many ideas were tested before the public knew such programs existed. Operation Midnight Climax remains one of the strangest intelligence scandals. Among the most bizarre chapters in secret behavioral research was an operation that used safe houses, hidden observation, and unsuspecting people. The goal was to study how certain substances affected behavior in real social situations. The setting made the story feel less like science and more like espionage theater. Rooms were prepared. Encounters were watched. Notes were taken by people who believed they were protecting national security. Later, when the operation became known, it shocked the public because it showed how far intelligence work could drift from ordinary moral boundaries. The mystery is not only the misconduct itself. It is the mindset that made such a plan seem useful. Some people see it as a reckless failure built from paranoia. Others wonder what similar projects remained hidden or were never fully recorded. The scandal endures because it joins secrecy, psychology, and human vulnerability in one unsettling scene. It reminds us that mind control research was sometimes pursued in places no one expected. Sidney Gottlieb became the shadowy face of chemical mind experiments. One figure came to symbolize the secret search for ways to alter consciousness. He was a scientist, an intelligence official, and a man whose work moved through classified programs that later became notorious. To some, he represented Cold War necessity, taken to frightening extremes. To others, he became the image of the hidden experimenter, testing chemicals and methods that ordinary citizens could barely imagine. His story is compelling because it is not simple. He was not a fictional villain in a laboratory coat. He operated within a system that rewarded secrecy, feared enemy advances, and treated the mind as a battlefield. That makes the mystery larger than one person. How does an institution create permission for actions that would horrify the public if seen in daylight? Some people believe he took secrets to the grave. Others think enough is known to judge the era. Either way, his name still marks the place where chemistry, power, and hidden influence met. Destroyed NK Ultra files left gaps that still invite speculation. When records from secret programs are missing, the absence becomes part of the story. Many files connected to the most notorious mind control research were destroyed before investigators could fully examine them. That left fragments, testimony, financial trails, and scattered documents to stand in for the whole picture. For historians, this is frustrating. For mystery seekers, it is irresistible. A gap in the archive can feel like a locked door. What was routine? What was extreme? What was abandoned? What continued under another name? Official explanations may describe administrative cleanup or attempts to limit exposure, but suspicion naturally grows where paper has vanished. Some people believe the destroyed records would mostly confirm known failures. Others think they concealed the most successful or disturbing experiments. The mystery survives because the public is asked to trust a story with missing pages. In mind control lore, missing evidence rarely feels empty. It feels heavy, as if something important was removed just before the lights came on. The Church Committee revealed only fragments of hidden behavioral programs. In the 1970s, a major Senate investigation exposed abuses by intelligence agencies and brought secret programs into public view. For many people, it was the first official confirmation that hidden behavioral research had not been just paranoid rumor. Yet the revelations felt incomplete. Investigators were working with damaged records, reluctant institutions, and the limits of what could be publicly discussed. The result was powerful but partial. It showed enough to disturb the country, but not enough to close every question. That is why the investigation still matters in mystery culture. It proved secrecy could protect experiments for years. It also showed that democracy often learns about hidden power only after the most important decisions have already been made. Some people see the committee as a rare moment of accountability. Others believe it exposed only what could no longer be denied. The mystery is that official truth can still feel like a keyhole view. You see light, but not the whole room. Cold War paranoia made mind control feel like a secret race. During the long standoff between superpowers, fear became its own engine. Each side suspected the other of developing hidden methods to influence soldiers, prisoners, citizens, and leaders. If one nation imagined that the enemy could control minds, then it felt dangerous not to investigate the same possibility. This created a strange race where even rumors could shape policy. A questionable report might inspire real funding. A dramatic defector story might push researchers towards stranger experiments. The mind became another territory to defend. What makes this period so fascinating is that belief and strategy fed each other. Governments did not need complete proof to act. They needed enough fear to justify secrecy. Some people see the era as a tragic spiral of suspicion. Others think it hints at breakthroughs that remain classified. The mystery is how much of the mind control story was caused by real discoveries, and how much was created by the terror that the other side might discover them first. Soviet psychotronic rumors fed Western fears of invisible weapons. In the shadow world of Cold War speculation, stories circulated about devices that could influence thought, mood, or health through unseen energies. The term psychotronic became attached to claims involving unusual weapons, psychic research, and technologies that seemed to operate beyond ordinary understanding. In the West, these rumors were both frightening and motivating. If Soviet scientists were exploring invisible influence, then ignoring the possibility could feel reckless. Some reports were likely exaggerated. Others may have mixed real research with propaganda, misunderstanding, and strategic bluffing. That mixture made the rumors hard to dismiss completely. The mystery is that invisible weapons are perfect instruments for fear. They leave room for every symptom, every coincidence, and every unexplained sensation to become evidence. Some people see psychotronic stories as Cold War mythology. Others believe the mythology grew around genuine classified work. Either way, the rumors expanded the idea of mind control beyond drugs and hypnosis. They suggested the next battlefield might be energy itself. Chinese brainwashing accusations shaped American anxiety after the Korean War. After prisoners returned from the Korean War, American culture struggled to explain why some had made statements that seemed sympathetic to the enemy. The word brainwashing became attached to China and quickly took on a terrifying force. It suggested a methodical process that could strip away loyalty and replace it with ideology. The idea arrived at a vulnerable moment. Americans feared communism, nuclear war, and the possibility that the self was not as secure as it seemed. Reports of indoctrination sessions, group pressure, and confession rituals added to the anxiety. Later analysis showed that captivity, stress, and survival strategies mattered deeply, but the cultural effect had already taken hold. Some people believed a new psychological weapon had been revealed. Others argued that the fear said as much about American insecurity as it did about foreign methods. The mystery is how a political accusation became a personal nightmare. If allegiance could be changed, then identity itself looked less permanent. The term brainwashing began as propaganda before becoming psychology folklore. A single word can change how an entire culture imagines the mind. Brainwashing sounded vivid, frightening, and easy to understand. It did not describe persuasion as a debate. It described the mind as something that could be cleaned out and refilled. That image was so powerful that it moved quickly from journalism and politics into films, therapy debates, cult stories, and everyday conversation. Over time, the term became less precise, but more useful as folklore. People used it whenever belief seemed too extreme, too sudden, or too obedient. The problem is that the word can explain too much too easily. It can describe coercion, but it can also dismiss sincere conviction. Some people believe it names a real process that experts try to soften. Others see it as a dramatic label for social influence under pressure. The mystery is that the term itself became influential. It shipped fears about influence while claiming to describe them. Prisoner conversion stories blurred coercion, survival, and genuine belief. When prisoners appear to adopt the views of those holding them, outsiders often assume that something unnatural has happened. Yet the inner reality can be far more complicated. A captive person may repeat statements to avoid punishment, win better treatment, protect others, or create a sense of meaning in a powerless situation. Over time, the words spoken for survival may begin to feel less separate from belief. This makes conversion stories difficult to judge from a distance. Were people convinced, broken, strategic, confused, or changed by sincere reflection? Different cases may have different answers. That uncertainty is why they became central to mind control fears. The public wants a clear boundary between pretending and believing. Captivity can blur that boundary. Some people see prisoner conversion as proof that identity can be reshaped by total control of environment. Others emphasize resilience and tactical compliance. The mystery remains because human beings can adapt so deeply that even they may struggle to explain what changed. Re-education camps showed how ideology can become daily conditioning. A re-education system does not rely only on lectures. It can surround a person with routine, confession, labor, slogans, surveillance, and constant social pressure. The goal is not merely to teach a new idea. It is to make the old self feel wrong, selfish, or dangerous. When every day repeats the same message, belief can become less like an opinion and more like a survival language. People learn what to say, when to agree, and how to watch their own thoughts for signs of disloyalty. Some may outwardly comply while resisting inside. Others may gradually accept the new framework because resistance becomes exhaustive. This is why re-education camps occupy such a powerful place in the history of mind influence. They show how ideology can move from the page into the body's daily schedule. The mystery is not whether people can be forced to repeat words. They can. The deeper mystery is when repetition begins to rearrange belief. North Korean defector stories reveal the power of controlled information. Accounts from people who escaped North Korea often describe a world where information was restricted, loyalty was ritualized, and outside reality was carefully distorted. For listeners elsewhere, the most startling part is not only the hardship, it is the construction of a total narrative. If a person grows up hearing one version of history, one image of leadership, and one explanation for suffering, then doubt may have nowhere safe to begin. Control of information becomes control of possibility. A forbidden radio broadcast or smuggled film can feel like a crack in the wall of reality. Some defectors describe the shock of learning that the outside world was not what they had been told. That moment is a mind control mystery in reverse. What happens when a sealed story breaks? Some people see these accounts as proof that propaganda can build an entire mental universe. Others caution that every personal story is shaped by memory and circumstance. Still, the central lesson is hard to ignore. Totalitarian slogans demonstrate how language can narrow possible thought. A slogan is short because it is meant to be remembered, repeated, and carried by the crowd. In authoritarian systems, slogans can do more than express policy. They can compress reality into a few approved phrases. Complex problems become simple enemies. Private doubts become public errors. The repeated words teach people what emotions are safe to show. Over time, language can shrink the space where alternative thoughts might form. This is why slogans are so important in the history of control. They do not need to persuade like a careful argument. They work through rhythm, certainty, and social pressure. When everyone repeats the same phrase, silence begins to feel dangerous. Some people see slogans as ordinary political tools used everywhere. Others see them as spells without magic, designed to make independent thought feel awkward. The mystery is that words meant for the mouth can eventually organize the mind. A phrase can become a fence. Newspeak from fiction still describes real fears about vocabulary. A fictional language designed to limit thought became one of the most famous warnings about political control. Its premise was chilling because it felt psychologically plausible. If people lose the words for certain ideas, those ideas become harder to discuss, defend, or even notice. The story was invented, but the fear behind it is real. Language frames the mind's options. A government, company, movement, or community can influence behavior by changing which words are acceptable and which words become dangerous. This does not require a complete invented language. It can happen through euphemism, taboo, official phrasing, and social punishment. Some people use the concept too broadly, applying it to any language change they dislike. Still, the core mystery remains powerful. Thought does not float free from words. It often travels through them. When vocabulary is narrowed, imagination may narrow with it. That is why a fictional idea became a lasting tool for understanding real control. Religious possession accounts raise old questions about outside agency. For centuries, people have described moments when a person seemed overtaken by a force beyond the ordinary self. Voices changed. Behavior shifted. Memories blurred. Families and communities interpreted these events through spiritual traditions, often seeing them as possession, oppression, or an invasion of the soul. Modern explanations may involve mental illness, trauma, performance, cultural expectation, or altered states. Yet the accounts remain powerful because they speak to a primal question. Can a person be moved by something that is not them? In the history of mind control, possession stories are ancient cousins of later fears about programming, hypnosis, and invisible influence. They frame control not as technology, but as agency entering from outside. Some people believe these cases are spiritual realities. Others see human psychology expressing distress through the language available to a culture. The mystery endures because the experience can feel real to those present. When someone appears divided from themselves, explanation rarely feels simple. Exorcism traditions frame behavior as a battle for control. An exorcism is not just a ritual. It is a confrontation over who has authority inside a person. The words, gestures, prayers, and witnesses all create a dramatic structure where suffering is treated as an occupying force. To believers, the goal is liberation from something external. To skeptics, the process may work through suggestion, catharsis, social meaning, or intense expectation. Either interpretation belongs to the larger story of mind influence. The ritual tells the person and the community that control can change hands. That idea alone can be powerful. In some cases, people may feel relief because the experience gives shape to chaos. In others, the danger of misinterpretation can be serious, especially when medical care is ignored. The mystery is why these traditions have survived in so many forms. Perhaps they persist because humans need a way to describe the feeling of not being fully in command. Exorcism makes that private terror visible. Folklore about charms and curses treated influence as invisible force. Long before modern psychology, people explained influence through objects, words, blessings, and curses. A charm could protect the mind. A curse could weaken it. A spoken phrase might attach itself to a person's fate. To modern ears, this may sound like superstition, but it reveals an important human instinct. People have always sensed that attention, belief, and fear can affect behavior. If someone believes they are cursed, that belief can change sleep, appetite, confidence, and decisions. The body may begin acting as if an unseen force is present. Some people see this as proof that belief creates its own reality. Others see it as suggestion working through culture. Either way, folklore understood something deep before it had scientific language. Influence does not always need a visible mechanism to feel real. The mystery is that a charm or curse may have no physical power, yet the mind can give it consequences. Invisible control sometimes begins with belief in control. Voodoo death stories suggest belief can become physically dangerous. Anthropologists and doctors have long been fascinated by reports of people becoming gravely ill after believing they were cursed or condemned by a powerful ritual. The phrase voodoo death became attached to the idea that terror and belief might trigger catastrophic bodily collapse. The details of many stories are debated, and the term itself can oversimplify living traditions. Still, the underlying possibility is startling. Extreme fear can affect the nervous system, the heart, hormones, and immune responses. The body may respond to social and spiritual certainty as if facing a physical attack. This does not mean every dramatic tale is true. It means belief can become biologically serious under certain conditions. Some people see these stories as evidence of hidden spiritual laws. Others see the power of expectation, authority, and cultural meaning. The mystery is that a thought can be more than a thought. If a person believes the sentence of death has been spoken, the body may listen. Shamanic trance practices explored guidance from non-ordinary states. Across many traditional cultures, shamans entered altered states to seek healing, insight, or contact with unseen realms. Drumming, fasting, dance, breath, and ritual setting could help shift awareness away from ordinary perception. To the community, the shaman's journey might bring back guidance for illness, conflict, or uncertainty. From a modern perspective, these practices raise fascinating questions about control and surrender. The practitioner intentionally changes consciousness, then interprets what appears within that state. Is the message coming from spirits, the deeper mind, the group's expectations, or some combination no simple category can hold? Some people see shamanic trance as ancient technology of consciousness. Others explain it through rhythm, suggestion, symbolism, and social role. The mystery is that trance can produce experiences powerful enough to guide real decisions. Whether the source is beyond the self or deep inside it, the result can feel like receiving instructions from another level of reality. Spirit mediumship complicates the boundary between voice and self. A medium may speak as if another presence is communicating through them. The voice, vocabulary, posture, or emotional tone can seem to shift. Sitars may hear details that feel meaningful, and the experience can become deeply moving. Skeptics point to cold reading, expectation, memory, and the human ability to find patterns in partial statements. Believers argue that some messages feel too specific or healing to dismiss. For the mind control mystery, mediumship is fascinating because it raises the question of authorship. When words emerge from a person, how do we know where they began? Are they performed, received, imagined, or drawn from subtle cues in the room? The answer may vary case by case. Mediumship also shows how strongly people respond to a voice that claims special origin. A message from the departed can carry more authority than ordinary advice. The mystery is not only whether spirits speak, it is how the mind recognizes a voice as not its own. Automatic writing raised doubts about authorship inside the mind. In automatic writing, a person allows words to appear on the page with little conscious planning. Some describe the hand moving as if guided. Others feel as if phrases arrive from a source beyond ordinary thought. The practice became famous in spiritualist circles, but it also interested psychologists and artists because it seemed to reveal hidden layers of the mind. A writer might produce messages, poems, warnings, or strange fragments that did not feel deliberately created. Skeptics explain it through unconscious association and motor habits. Believers may see communication from spirits, guides, or other intelligences. The mystery is powerful because writing usually feels intentional. When it seems to happen by itself, the self becomes harder to locate. Who chose the words? Who formed the sentence? Who knew what would come next? Automatic writing stands at the crossing point of creativity, trance, and possession. It suggests that the mind may contain voices that feel separate from the person holding the pen. Ouija board sessions show how unconscious movement can feel external. A group places fingers on the planchette, asks a question, and watches as it moves across letters. To the participants, the motion can feel as if it comes from somewhere else. No one feels responsible, yet a message appears. This is why the board became one of the most famous household mysteries. The usual explanation is the ideomotor effect, where tiny unconscious movements create action without deliberate intention. But knowing that explanation does not always remove the feeling. In the moment, the experience can seem genuinely external, because each person senses only light contact and shared anticipation. The board also creates a powerful social setting. Everyone watches. Everyone waits. Every movement gains meaning. Some people treat the messages as spirits. Others see the unconscious mind speaking through the group. The mystery is that human beings can create communication without feeling like authors. The planchette becomes a mirror that moves, and the reflection can be hard to trust. The ideomotor effect explains motion without ending the mystery. The ideomotor effect describes small unconscious movements guided by expectation, attention, or belief. It helps explain pendulums, dowsing rods, certain board phenomena, and other experiences where motion seems to arrive from outside the self. A person may honestly feel that they are not moving, while their muscles respond in tiny ways to an idea held in mind. This is a remarkable discovery because it shows that intention is not always experienced as intention. The body can act on a thought before the conscious self claims ownership. Skeptics use the effect to debunk many paranormal claims. Yet the explanation opens another mystery, rather than closing everything down. If belief can move the body without awareness, how many other actions begin in hidden layers? Some people see ideomotor movement as a trick of physiology. Others see it as evidence that the unconscious has its own quiet agency. The strange part is not that the rod moves. It is that the mover feels absent. Twin telepathy stories keep the dream of shared thought alive. Twins have long been surrounded by stories of unusual connection. One feels pain when the other is hurt. One calls at the exact moment the other needs help. One dreams of an event before hearing it happened. Many accounts can be explained by closeness, coincidence, shared habits, and selective memory. Yet the stories persist because twins really do often know each other in extraordinary detail. They may read small changes in tone, predict reactions, and share emotional rhythms formed across a lifetime. That deep familiarity can feel almost psychic from the outside, and sometimes from the inside too. Some people believe twin telepathy is evidence that minds can link beyond ordinary signals. Others think the bond only appears paranormal because ordinary intimacy is already powerful. The mystery remains appealing because it offers a hopeful version of mind influence. Not control, but connection. If any minds could touch at a distance, people imagine it would be two lives that began together. Collective consciousness theories imagine humanity linked beneath ordinary awareness. Some ideas about the mind go beyond individual influence and suggest that humans may share a deeper mental field. In psychology, religion, mysticism, and speculative thought, versions of collective consciousness have appeared again and again. The claim changes depending on the tradition. Sometimes it means shared symbols. Sometimes it means inherited patterns. Sometimes it becomes the wilder idea that thoughts can ripple through a hidden network of minds. Mainstream science approaches these claims cautiously, but culture keeps returning to them because they make certain experiences feel meaningful. A crowd senses a mood. A generation begins dreaming similar futures. An invention appears in different places at nearly the same time. Coincidence may explain much of this, but the pattern still intrigues people. The mind control question becomes enormous here. If minds are connected, then influence may not move only through speech and screens. It might move through a deeper human current, one we notice only in flashes. The greatest mystery is whether free will can be quietly shaped. Every example in the mind control story points back to one final question. How much of a choice belongs fully to the person making it? A decision can feel private, yet it may be touched by memory, fear, language, design, biology, authority, and the expectations of other people. None of that means free will is an illusion. But it does make freedom more mysterious than a simple yes or no. A person may choose sincerely inside a world that has already arranged the options. They may resist one influence while obeying another. They may feel independent while carrying ideas planted years earlier. Some people believe hidden systems guide far more than we admit. Others think awareness itself gives us a way to push back. The mystery remains open because the mind is not a sealed room. It is alive, responsive, and constantly shaped by contact. Perhaps freedom is not the absence of influence. Perhaps it is noticing the influence before it becomes us. And so, we come to the end of this journey, through the strange and unsettling world of mind control. Tonight we moved through the old fear that a thought could be planted without us noticing, and followed it into secret programs, strange experiments, hidden messages, altered states, and the quiet machinery of modern Tao prey. Influence. We looked at hypnosis, propaganda, memory, obedience, screens, algorithms, sound, drugs, dreams, and the growing frontier where the brain begins to meet the machine. Some of these mysteries have clear pieces of evidence behind them. Others live in rumor, speculation, and the shadowed spaces where official answers never quite satisfy the imagination. But together, they point toward one powerful question: how much of the mind is truly private, and how much is shaped by the world pressing softly against it? Maybe the answer is not simple. Maybe influence is not always a command. Sometimes it is a voice we trust. Sometimes it is a pattern repeated until it feels familiar. Sometimes it is a room, a screen, a memory, or a fear that quietly changes the path ahead. But now, you do not need to solve any of it. Let the questions drift away for tonight. Let the stories settle, like distant lights fading behind closed curtains. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your breathing to find its own easy pace. There is nothing more to follow, and nothing more to work out. If you enjoyed this curious journey, you are welcome to like, subscribe, or leave a thought below. It helps others find their way here too. And if you happen to still be awake, another mystery will be waiting on the screen whenever you are ready. For now, let the mind loosen its grip on the day. Let the room become still around you. Let sleep come closer, one calm breath at a time. Sleep well, and good night.